Today we begin our Lenten discipline. Incidentally, the Old English word Lent means spring. So that's what it looks like out today, right? Actually, Lent in Latin was the word quadragesima, which means 40th day. But we don't like using that term. Quadragesima, it's hard to say. The 40 days of Lent is this pilgrimage of hope, a season of penance and spiritual renewal that prepares us to share more fully in the mystery of Christ's death and resurrection. And we imitate Jesus, who spent 40 days in the desert before he began his ministry. And the gospel that we have today on Ash Wednesday reminds us of the three practices that we are to work on, especially during this time of Lent: prayer, fasting, and almsgiving. Almsgiving, or doing good works of love and mercy, can be done in many forms. It's not just giving money, giving alms, but really incorporates all of the 14 corporal and spiritual works of mercy, like helping shelter the homeless, to comfort the sick, to forgive offenses willingly, to bear wrongs patiently. All those are part of what it means to do almsgiving. In fasting, we can choose to give up some kind of small thing or in order to show our love for God. So, for example, when we give up meat on Fridays of Lent, and today we tell Jesus that we love him more than we love food. Ultimately, fasting, though, is to help build up our ability to be able to fast from sin. That's what we really should be removing from our life completely. The Ash Wednesday practice of having our foreheads signed with the ashes comes from the scriptures, where putting ashes on one's head was an expression of mourning. That by having this sign of the cross with the ashes placed on our heads today, we mourn both Christ's suffering on the cross as well as our own sins, which is what made Jesus' suffering necessary for our salvation. And finally, in Lent, we also need to spend more time in prayer. Because Jesus wants us to know him better, wants us to know his love for us. And so that's why we've been encouraging the participation in the Live Lent Together small groups as one way in which we can do this. In fact, through that, it's almost a kind of an opportunity to combine all three of these things. Fasting from other things so that you can fit in that time to meet together and pray. Joining with other people to assist them in their spiritual needs and their spiritual growth would be a kind of almsgiving, a good deed that we're doing for others. And also, of course, it's focused around spending that time together in prayer. So all three of these, prayer, fasting, almsgiving, are about a relationship with God the Father. That's why Jesus says in the gospel not to do these things for the purpose that other people can see us and see how good we are. But no, he says they should be done completely out of love for God. So our prayer during Lent also reflects more on what Jesus has done for us out of love, how he died for us. That's why, for example, we so often do the Stations of the Cross during Lent. By following Jesus along the way of the cross, we then, at the end of Lent, share in his resurrection, his victory over sin and death. And so may our celebration of Lent renew our hope in all of Jesus' promises and our commitment to follow him ever more closely, so that at Easter we can rejoice in his gift of eternal life and the triumph of his saving love.